Amen.
Amen. Man, welcome to another edition of Trust the Process podcast. Yours truly, Rob the People's Plug Martin, formerly known as U-Haul Rob.
I know, right? U-Haul Rob.
Joined by always Nick Nax.
What's up, what's up, what's up?
The Italian Stallion, Nicholas the Reverend Martin.
Hollywood in
Man.
the building.
And as always, Mr. 1 in 8 billion, irregular strength himself.
Garcia,
What
Vegas.
up, what up?
Julius Maddox, what's up, fellas?
I'm in the building.
I'm in the building. I'm in the booth.
You put
What's
on
up?
a, you put on a beat?
I don't know. I just know something's different. It's hitting different.
Man, this
Voices
is
sound
man. I
a
sound
little different.
Are you putting on a beat?
Oh, no, too late. We didn't get to do it right through.
Yeah, no, that's the Freestyle Fridays gets us in the mood. That's when we do the mic checks.
Yeah,
So
we
what's
should
up,
do-
fella? What's up, Rona?
Fella.
What's up, Rona?
I'm not what up into no Rona. Rona, you get thumbs down. Coronavirus, you get thumbs down.
Man, what's the Rona about? How you guys been doing in the Rona?
I mean, really, I've been with you just about every single day. So, I mean, how you been doing in the Rona?
Except the last two.
Yeah, I've been relaxing. Like, sometimes you just gotta relax. You gotta just rest.
When Juice says relax, Nick, it's think about the picture of relaxing, and that's what you see.
Like a king, sprawled out, eating grapes.
Hibernation.
Not being able to move, like you sprawled out. Like
I mean, what's wrong with that rest?
Ain't nothing wrong with
Be
rest.
still and know that, what is it? Be still and know that I am God?
Yes.
Oh, you take it literal.
I
don't you?
mean, be still. I was being still.
He takes it literal.
I mean, come on now.
Man, being still get you stuck.
Trash bag pizza.
Yeah, that's a new one on me. Trash bag pizza. All we knew about was Papa John pizza.
Yeah, I got Nick out during the quarantine.
You got what?
They said, y'all got Nick out during the quarantine? Yes, sir.
Man,
Yeah.
Nick's been
Who
on.
said that?
Byron.
Man, we've been on Mr. Mom since the quarantine hit. We've been, man, trying to survive and thrive at the same time.
Man,
I got my biggest fan, Bobby Seaton, on here.
what's up, Big Bobby?
Big Bobby.
Big B's.
Yeah, let's get it.
So what's up, guys? So how's it going?
What up, Yay? Man, it's been, I mean, all right, let's just be honest. I told my daughter yesterday, when me and Heaven was talking, and we told her, look, y'all ain't going back to school until May 1st now.
Man,
At least.
She started adding the days. Look with her fingers, like with panicking. Like, I can't keep doing this here with y'all. She started crying.
They ain't going to the fall.
Man,
She said, I'm trying to go back to school.
Yeah, they ain't.
And I said, man, that's a blessing, man. My daughter wants to learn.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's a
She
wrap.
wants to go back to school to learn and see her friends, is what she said.
Yeah, but it's a wrap. They ain't going back to school till.
Oh, yeah, it's over.
Guarantee it.
It's over.
They're just trying to make it feel good.
They're trying to soften the impact.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
yeah.
we're going to set it back 30 more days.
yeah.
That's what I do with my kids. When you about to whoop them and you like, hey,
No, that's like the principal. That's like the teacher saying, I might not turn this referral into
Listen,
the
y'all
principal.
good. Listen, hey, you know how many times they did that for me?
I know, right?
Like, Nick, if you just make it through the day,
Nick, do
you
you
act
remember?
like this will never happen.
It always happened, didn't it?
Hey, did you check this out? Our dad used to come to school when we got called in and they called our dad.
What's up, Roger?
Man, he came to the school and was like, nah, he ain't leaving. And I'm like, they suspended me. He was like, nah, y'all ain't
He
leaving.
refused?
He said that won't be a punishment. He said he needs to stay here with y'all.
I remember one time,
Did they let you stay?
What do you say to a dad? He was like, I ain't taking him.
I remember one time I came home from work. I was like, Dad, they let me go. He went into Wendy's and I really had quit. He went in the next day and figured it out. He said, nah, he didn't quit. He'll be back tomorrow.
Man,
I was like, no, I
Hey, he was
quit.
getting that
He was
check.
like, you ain't quit at my house.
man. Hey, make sure you guys go on there and like, share, and subscribe to Trust the Process podcast on Facebook. We're on IG. We also just released our YouTube channel where you can go on there and see all the craziness outside of just hearing it. We're also on all major digital platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcast. There's a couple other ones too.
What about how Jaron said yesterday, this is the worst time to have allergies?
Oh, yeah.
Man, everybody thinks you got it.
It's confusing there. I know I went through allergies for a few days and it's like, You started testing, like,
Oh,
is this allergies or?
I sneezed. Well, I don't know where I was at. I sneezed, and people looked at me like I was crazy.
Man.
This lady at the dollar store kept telling me she was like 6 feet, 6 feet. I thought she was joking, right?
Yeah, they ain't playing out
So
there,
like,
Rona. They
I
ain't
mean,
playing.
like we're like she's coming out of an aisle, and I'm coming like one down the main house, and she's like yelling at me like 6 feet, 6 feet, and I'm like, all right. And I just kind of laughed it off. So like she said it again when we're up by the register.
Oh yeah.
And then as I'm coming out in the parking lot, she says it again.
Yeah.
They gonna tell
I'm just
the
like, she's
Indian-
dead up serious, but I got it. Like, she had autoimmune disease,
yeah.
and she was like I could tell, like, she was one of the people that worried, like, look, I only come out once a month.
Hey, right now going out into public is like going into the jungle.
I know.
You just never know what
You
you're
never
gonna,
know what you're gonna get.
You never know what you're gonna pass. You never know what you're gonna see. I mean, you just be ready for anything. You know.
But that's
what
why you gotta have that exotic Joe mindset.
What's that?
What's his?
You gotta do what you gotta do.
What was his mindset?
You gotta do what you gotta do to get it done.
If Rona taught us anything, it taught us.
About Carol Baskins.
And she did she kill her husband?
Carol Baskins killed her husband.
Hey,
I
but
guarantee
what
you.
about this? Everybody thinks, and I seen this yesterday. They said Joe Exotic is crazy. It just shows how ignorant Americans are for watching it. But I'm like, when is the last time you built a whole zoo? Like,
I know,
They
right?
It's pretty
maintained it,
smart.
Nick, for years.
it's still open.
That's what I'm saying. They first of all, dude stole it from him. I believe that. They set him up.
Yeah,
And his
yeah,
songs
yeah.
was actually okay.
I heard that he wasn't the one
He
saying it.
sounds like he's from Grace Chapel.
Somebody needs to get with him right now and sign him to a music career. He'll probably take about 10 stacks.
We gotta get Joe Exotic out of jail.
Man,
We don't believe what he does morally, but we love
I believe
we love
in
zoos.
justice. I believe in justice, and I believe after I seen it all, I believe the Chunky doll and the other dude set him up to steal the zoo.
But think about this. How was Carol Baskin saying all she had was a fancy name, Big Cat Rescue? She was doing
She was doing the exact same
She was
thing.
doing the same thing. That's how corrupt it is. It's like, look, I say what you do is wrong, but what I do is right because I call it something else.
Yeah, it's just all about how
So-
you made it sound.
So
they
for
was-
those of you
they
guys
were
that
popping
don't know what we're
bottles.
talking about Joe Exotic, the Tiger King.
The Tiger King.
I didn't really want to check out this shirt that Rob has on. It says "Free Exotic."
Y'all
Rob,
see it.
Why are you so close?
man, he's all up in
Because
it.
his camera is only 1.5 pixel.
Man, don't be hating,
I
bro.
don't know what kind of camera he got over there. He got a new setup every week.
I mean, listen, we
Where
just
you
gotta we gotta
Where
be
you live
professional.
at?
I told I
Live in the
was telling
booth.
John that Netflix should release all series they have right now in the vault. Just
All
because
of them.
Oh yeah,
everybody's
All
at
of them.
home. Like
Right now is the perfect time to create content to get it out because
Oh,
the world needs it. The
Net-
world is waiting for it.
Netflix stock is through the roof right now.
I'm gonna tell you who stock through the roof is Zoom.
Zoom.
Nobody ever heard about Zoom before Rona. After
I heard
Rona,
about Zoom.
Rona was a blessing. I've never heard about it.
But you know what they
Yeah.
said? They said Skype was so mismanaged that because you got to think everybody before would always say let's Skype each other,
Yeah,
and it was so mismanaged that everybody found Zoom because Skype never worked like it was supposed to work.
yeah. Well, Zoom's been out for a while.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh,
But
wow.
that's what it does is when the pressure shows it, right?
Yeah, man, pressure makes diamonds.
Man, pressure makes diamonds, but pressure also makes was them CZs that used to
Hey,
rock?
what about
Ports.
what about when all this is over?
CZ.
Them CZs that used to rock too?
I like Zoom so
When
much.
did I wear CZs?
That was a Nick.
Look, I like
That
Zoom.
was you. That was your earrings you used to wear.
I used to wear
the
them.
the big ones too that made your ears.
Yeah,
That
with
was
your
Jay
ears
Webb.
sing.
That was Jay Webb and B-Mac.
Yeah, they had the big. No, I used to wear those. I ain't gonna lie.
What,
Something about those big earrings made you look. Yeah.
With
What
two
about-
Racerbacks.
what about when all this is over? You still tell people like we Zoom meeting.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do this Zoom
It's
meeting.
it's
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Zoom, I want to look
We
it
ain't
up.
gotta
How
meet in
much they
person.
make. How much do they make in the last month?
Yeah, Zoom.
That's a lot.
Zoom did their thing.
Man, that's what I'm saying. And it's through things like this that I believe that like great inventions come and you figure out how to do life and you know like they said that I was watching a podcast the other day. They're talking about Disney stock and how it's going down and I mean there's a lot of things that are suffering, but there's a lot of other things that are adjusting and getting better through this, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So so what week are we in? Week 2, week
6,
I don't even know.
16?
probably 4 or
Are we
5.
week 16?
We're up there.
All right, so we're all married. How you guys managing? How's the marriages going during Cora?
Up and down,
Why do
bro.
you say Cora?
She got 2 different names.
Cora.
course.
She got 2 nicknames. Look, she don't know how to act.
I was telling somebody the other day, marriages are either going to survive or they're going to struggle during this time.
That's true.
Hey, what I would do is I would really get intentional with your time. So, like, you know, your wife is working, Nick, during this time.
At home.
You know, and I would get intentional. And even if it's, I think you still have to be intentional, like with date night, right? You still have to figure out some type of time to be together. Heck, June Heaven did it for 2 days.
The hardest part about this.
We did what?
Had date days.
The harder
2
part.
days straight.
Had date days.
The hardest part about
What's
all
that
this
mean? What's it
is,
shooting shots?
We're so creatures of habit that
You want to go there?
right now everybody's habits are thrown off. So
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Jana's at working from home where, you know, my days are usually filled with meetings. Now I've turned into Mr. Mom and, you know, Nick, they need to be quiet upstairs. Nick, they need to do this. And, you know, I'm having to like make lunch and breakfast and where I'm usually gone at 7 every morning as soon as I drop Bella off to school. Now I'm having to re-figure out how to do everything.
And this is how dads do breakfast. Nick just came in with breakfast and it was pizza rolls.
Lunch. We already did
Oh,
breakfast.
you on lunch?
Yeah, they're on
It's
lunch,
12.
Rob. Chill
Yeah,
out.
We don't do lunch at 3.
Rob is quick to shoot shots on people
Dude,
that ain't really.
Rob's got a different. His kids just wake up.
His kids wake up and do what they need to do. It's easy for you to say when your kids are old enough
Like
to
a
get up
baseball
and do what
coach.
they're
I
supposed
just,
to be
hey,
doing.
look, I just give them signals now.
Yeah, that's it.
Just give, you know, they don't have to do baseball.
Must be
signals.
nice.
You ever see Army dads? That's how Rob. Wake up, do chores.
Get it done. All right, so listen, guys. We want y'all's opinion. We'll come back to this. So understand this. Is this a go or a no? So if somebody tells you, hey, look, I'm going to be at your house at 2 o'clock.
You want to go there?
2 o'clock.
Yeah, we're going there. I'm going to be at
2
your house
o'clock.
at 2 o'clock.
Not 3. Bella, 2.
And they show up at 4 o'clock, right? But they've texted your phone, all right? They text your phone maybe an hour after or 45 minutes after the time that they were supposed to be there.
So about 3 they texted.
So it was about 2:45 when they texted. So somebody was supposed to come pick me up at 2 o'clock. They didn't come pick me up. They shot me a text after the time that they were supposed to come pick me up, right? An hour later. And then shifted the blame on me, which I'm not saying I'm out of the blue. I own my part. But who was initially wrong at first? I just want y'all's honest opinion.
It sounds like he's good at
No,
judging.
I'm not. I explained it the way it was, right?
2.
Do you feel like do you feel like I misinterpreted it?
Ain't no way around
What
that
you
one.
said, so let me let you hear what you just said. Somebody was supposed to pick me up at 2 o'clock. They didn't text me till 2:45. What was your part in it?
My part is, one, I probably should have shot you a text or I should have my phone around me.
Because if you're
Or
ready
call.
to go at 2 o'clock, you're not just going to be sitting there like a lonely pup.
But ultimately, when you said I will be at your house at 2 o'clock and you did not show up,
Was you honestly ready?
yeah, all I had to do was put my shoes and my shirt on.
Nick, if he was ready, when 2 o'clock comes around, look, what you gonna do? You gonna pick up the
Look,
phone?
let me tell you how I knew.
Rob,
Let me
are
tell
you
Let me
okay?
tell you what it was.
What?
Did Carol
I
Baskin
knew
get
Rob
you,
wasn't gonna
bro?
be there.
Exactly.
I knew Rob wasn't gonna be there until like 3:30, 4 o'clock.
What about?
Nick, hey, he just Jesus
Is
juked
this
you all
a-
the way.
Hey, no, I knew he
I
was.
agree. Is this a go? Rob's always the main one talking about we are on time.
Y'all's grind ain't where it needs to be.
It's on your calendar. This is coronavirus. It's knocked Rob all out of sorts. He's like, he woke up at 10:30 talking about, I don't know what happened. The alarm didn't go off. Usually it's 6 a.m. What's up, guys? Grind time.
It's grind
today.
time. Look, he's got his phone up right now. Look at
But-
it.
These fellas is funny
Is this
today.
has Corona knocked off y'all's schedule?
So has Corona knocked off y'all schedules?
There's no
Does
it
Corona
has
have
to.
you guys in denial right
It
now?
has
to.
The other day I woke up. I promise you, I woke up early and I sit there and I was like, man, I ain't got nothing to do. Like I was mad because I was like, I could go ahead and get up, but what's next?
Yeah, we're gonna get Ron Gary.
That's what happened this morning to me. Is my alarm went off at 6. I hit the snooze at 6:30. I just turned it off. I was like, man, what am I gonna get up and do?
Man, I think that's why it comes down to like right now. Okay, so this is what I wanted to talk about. You listen, Drew?
Oh, hold up.
Man, Drew got his own show going on. Look, that's
No, it kicked me off.
But I know what's helped me. What's helped y'all get through this, Drew? Rob?
I think it comes down to discipline.
I think the biggest thing, I mean, it's just like, I thought the same thing that Rob thought. Like, I woke up the other morning, and I was just like, man, what is going on? Why am I don't have nothing really to do.
Yeah.
Like, there's stuff to do, but it's like, it wasn't nothing behind me, like poking me to say, look, all right, I'm going to get up and go.
Yeah, there's nothing behind you. So what happens when there's no driving force behind you? So do you have to be driven? Or you drive?
I mean, yeah, sometimes. Rob, I mean, I don't know.
But you've kind of experienced this before. You kind of experienced this before, and you don't have actual job to go to right now.
Yeah. So why don't you let him go in that office?
Has that struggled?
No, not before. You got the keys. So not before. I guess during this season right now. Again, I don't work for Friends of Sinners anymore. Simply, I wanted to go out and do my own thing. But for the most part, I've either been sick or this coronavirus. There's only been 1 week in between where, I was able to get up and do whatever I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But ever since I've been off from Friends of Sinners, I've either been sick, because I was sick for like 2 weeks, or it's been this virus going on. So I really haven't, since I've been off from a full-time job, I haven't been able to really catch my groove. Really, to just be honest, period, I haven't been able to catch it. So.
I know they say one of the worst things, like for older people, is when they don't have anything to do anymore. And they say it's like the first step of dying.
It is. Retirement kills people. When
you wake up and you're like, well, what am I going to do today? I know one thing that's helped me kind of get back on schedule is give myself things to do every day. So yesterday I was like, I'm going to detail the cars. Today I was like, I'm going to get these rooms ready. I'm going to paint a room, So it gave me kind of like a desire to do stuff.
Look, the Rona got, I'm telling you.
I don't know what's going on.
Look, the Rona's got us. So don't say these guys. What are you talking about?
What are you over doing?
Responding back to our live audience.
To our audience or to your audience?
What do you want? I'm trying to get everybody switched over, Rob.
Oh, okay. I feel you.
Our national podcast is probably going down.
Oh, yeah.
No, listen, I'm telling you guys need to go on over to Trust the Process podcast page and is it a follow?
I don't know what you do. What you do? Subscribe?
I mean, you're the tech guy.
You subscribe, you like, you follow, you subscribe, and you share it.
Yeah, share this so we can grow, so we can get our growers.
Yeah, we're looking for sponsors too. I think right now is the perfect time for us to reach out, for us to be able to connect with people who want to do some type of partnership with us. I mean, right now it's prime time. I mean, because look, in a couple months, ain't gonna be no spots available.
Yeah, I know.
So
go ahead.
Well, what I wanted to talk about was, and I guess we can just kind of go off the fly and see what you guys think about this. So I was thinking yesterday just about this time that we're in, and what it's forcing us to do. And it reminded me a lot of the off season in sports, right? So in sports, they have a regular season, and then they have like 4 or 5 months that it's called the off season. And that's a time where it's a mandatory off season. And really that's what it feels like right now that we're in, is a mandatory off season.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it is like a mandatory off season. But so here's the thing too. I like you say that, because in off season, do you think people are actually off?
No, not at all. And that's what I was doing some research on it, like I asked you guys to do, but they said it's not when you work. The off season is not when you work in your craft; it's when you work on your craft. So a lot of professional athletes who perform at a very high level, the LeBron James, I don't know the baseball ones, but the football ones, Tom Brady's, I'm sure that they work harder during the off season than they actually do when they're in the everyday routine. So right now, while we're in this mandatory off season, we don't really have a choice, but we do have a choice with how we react to the situation that we've been placed in, right?
Yeah.
So we can't control the situation, but we can control how we react to it.
Definitely. So that means, like what we kind of already been talking about, trying to stay in some sort of a routine, you know, and in the midst of like all this confusion, really, it's really hard to kind of like really stay in routine. I mean, if you really think about it.
I would say it comes down to discipline.
Yeah, it comes down to discipline, but I'm saying so many things are changing. Like, Rob, you got to understand, something has changed, which I'm not giving no valid excuse or giving an excuse, but you got to understand, what's happening right now has never happened.
Right, and I'm not saying that.
You know what I mean? So, like some people don't know how to adapt. You got to think about it, too. Another thing, one thing I want to mention is we're forgetting, like, we're in different positions than a lot of other people. Like, I'm not saying we're well off, but we're not in need as some others are. So some people are panicking. We don't have that.
They said 6 million people have filed for unemployment.
Wow, they're waiting on them stimulus checks to drop, ain't they? At direct deposit.
I got the noise turned up. I got the noise turned up as soon as it hits. It goes.
Look, I'm telling you, they said if you ain't got direct deposit, it could take up to 20 weeks to get it. So look, go to your nearest bank and get a direct deposit set up.
But you got to think about this too. So for me, it was my goal this year was not to miss a day at the gym, Monday through Friday. And I did that. So from January until they shut down the gyms, I didn't miss a day at the gym.
So you got a curveball through with it.
So there was a curveball that was unexpected that's never happened. So my whole goal was no matter what you do Monday through Friday all year, you're going to be the 9%. You're not going to miss a day at the gym. So here they go. I'm achieving my goals. I'm achieving everything I set out for this year. I'm at the gym every single day. And boom, the gym shuts down.
Yeah.
Everything that I usually did every day is shut down. So what do you do when a curveball comes? And that's what we can kind of talk about is I went through a few days of like anxiety, depression, you know, whatever it was. Like, why do I even need to get up? You know, why do I need to, there ain't nothing to go do anyway. So we've been, you know, so again, when a curveball comes, you have to readjust, I believe, and set new goals and new focus because like what I was doing, it looks completely different than what I'm doing now. So my goals today are way different than my goals was my New Year's resolutions.
But what I'm saying is does the goal change or just how you go about obtaining that goal change? Because I could say like right now, and it may be from the outside looking in, that if your goal was to go to the gym every day, the gym was stripped away. Do you still have the ability to get your workout in?
Yeah, so that's what I do. I go running now.
Every day?
Yeah, every day.
So you're still 100% for the year?
Yeah, so I go running. Yeah, so I just had to switch it up. But after running, it's still like, okay, I'm balancing kids in my house. I'm balancing, you know, my wife working from home. I'm balancing, you know, what else is there to do? From, you know, where I usually would go to the gym and then go meet with somebody. It's like, all right, gym's over.
Yeah,
but you can still meet with somebody.
I mean, not really. You know what I mean, Rob? You got to be very careful who you meet with.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it's 2020. You can meet on the Zoom meeting.
Yeah, so you do that. I'll do that.
But what I'm saying is just I believe that how we go about doing things is what needs to change, and I believe that God's getting us ready for whatever is to come. Because if we cannot take a small curveball, and I know this is not just a small curveball, but if we can't take this and adjust. So we did a whole podcast on adjust, right? On adjusting to what life brings you or what life deals you, and just being able to adjust to that to still be the best of who you've been created to be.
Yeah, I mean, of course, adjust is just a part of everyday life. But I'm just saying, Rob, that's easier said than done. I mean, just being honest. Like,
no, but you got to think, like, even in Rob's life, like, I seen a transition to where Rob's usually at work at 8 o'clock in the morning. I called Rob one day, it was 11, and he was like, I'm still asleep. Like, so he can say all that.
That was one of the rest days.
But he can say all that, but this has been an adjustment for everybody.
It is an adjustment, but what I'm saying is...
what I mentally had to do was I've created a mental checklist every day of things I want to get done.
I need to learn from y'all.
So, Jonna's car, I detailed it from front to back yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
My truck, I detailed it from front to back, and it gave me a sense of accomplishment for that day. Like, but before it was, man, I guess I'm just going to play PlayStation.
Do y'all have honey-do lists?
I created my own
I'm
since
about
this
to make
happened.
one. I did a few
I know my
things.
yard's
Got my
about
yard
to be
cleaned
on.
up.
My yard's about to be on yard.
Shout out to Bobby. Yeah, Bobby came out and mowed my grass. I'm gonna go get some weed killer, kill the weeds, get my front yard together.
If your yard ain't looking immaculate after this,
Man.
you been really chilling.
And the thing about it is, like, I caught myself, like you're talking about when you get in this funk for the past 2 days. I just didn't feel like doing anything. Just to be honest, man. I didn't, I would, but it wasn't like a motivator. Like, I wasn't motivated or mandatory to be like, look, make this happen.
Because you got to think before with you and your kids, if you are bored, it's usually, hey, let's all go do something. Let's go to the park.
Yeah.
Let's go to Elite Air.
Yeah, like, I thought for a second, I was like, look, I'm about to just take my family out of town for a couple days.
All right.
Can't do that. I thought it was a great idea too. You know what I mean? I'm in my head, and then immediately I'm like, we can't even leave the state.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
So it's anything you do right now.
But you can find things to do though. It's not like you've been cut off from living life.
We've been on every trail in Owensboro.
Oh yeah, you're doing. That's what I'm saying. So you
Ben
can.
Hall.
My kids ain't like that.
Yellow.
They don't like trails.
Oh, my legs!
Oh,
my
man.
legs!
Yesterday I took them to Panther Creek. They said this is the longest trail on earth. We weren't even halfway through.
No, but what it is, so like, but you get inventive and you get creative with finding certain things to do, right? So you're just adjusting to this process that we've been placed in. We can't control what has happened, but we can control how we control it, how we work in this season. And man, I just feel like because of this, we're getting better. And maybe you can't see it right now. And this is for anybody, just like Jude said, like we may be a little bit better well off, as in like we're not starving, like we're not looking for our next meal.
Yeah, y'all too.
And this has affected everybody.
Yes.
Nick's a reverend.
Yeah, he's getting paid regardless.
Yeah. No. Pay
So
those tithes.
He said, "Get your ties in."
Hey, real quick, shout out to Jay's Good Grub.
Yeah, but think
We're gonna slide through there for
so,
lunch.
so think about that in the sense of like what Rob said is this is what kind of keeps me motivated is because when this is all over, right now you're going to create habits that last longer than the coronavirus.
Oh yeah, outlast way.
So if your body gets in the habit of waking up at 10, 11 o'clock, do you know how hard that is going to be to readjust when all this is over?
Look, I found myself like going to sleep later and later.
Oh, me too.
And like I don't like it. It's an uneasy feeling. Like,
you
look,
can really
I'm getting out of
you
routine,
can very
man.
easily. I'm telling you, I was like, man, what are we doing staying up at 1 o'clock in the morning and not even caring what time we get up? Like that's not normal.
Yeah.
All year, think about it. I wake up at 5 a.m. every day, all year long. Guess what I started doing? I just turned my alarms off.
Man, that's why ET and them said, look, right now you got to get back to the basics. I did appreciate that podcast that they did. They was like, look, you can't focus on what you're doing right now. What you need to focus on is whenever you started to change your life, what was the things that you was doing in that moment? So
Man.
like, what were the simple, small things that you forced yourself to do? So
Being
like,
consistent.
Jude talks about like going walking. Your legs have not been cut off, and the ability to get out and walk hasn't been cut off, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like that's been changed. What has changed is our mentalities. Our mentalities, not just the corona is affecting the world, corona is affecting our mentalities.
Yeah.
And we're almost giving up and just throwing in the cart and saying, why even do it?
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the thought. It's like, man, I don't have to go to this meeting. I don't have to get up and go to this. Like, I'm just going to chill. And when that runs through your head, like you realize that you don't even realize you're starting to have it all over again of your old lifestyle.
Oh yeah.
And
very quickly.
It warned me. I mean, like it really, I felt it. I could feel this uneasy feeling come over me. Like you're going to sleep 11, 12 o'clock at night.
Oh, man, you're going
Used
back.
to, I was in bed.
You feel it.
I was in bed by like 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like ready to like go to sleep.
Because you was preparing yourself
I was
for the next
preparing
day.
myself for the next day. Now I don't have nothing to do for the next day, so it's like I have stuff to do, but it's not really seemed like a huge priority. Like
Mandatory.
It ain't mandatory.
You can do it almost any time.
We
I
have
can do it
placed
anytime.
on a mandatory off season. What are you doing with it? And that's the question that I've been wanting to raise. Is like,
but here's what I think is, you know, those things that you couldn't do before. It's like you just didn't have time for. Like you wanted to redo your room.
That's right.
You wanted to redo the floors. Like you wanted to redo, you know, your outside gardening. I think now is the time where you have to look at that stuff and say, that's what I'm going to accomplish.
Man, God gave you this big gap and said, here, get it done.
So I told Jonathan, I was like, tomorrow I'm going to paint our room. You know, because that's something we've been wanting to get done for a while. Why not take this time instead of me sitting around playing PlayStation and go ahead and get our room like we want it, so when all this is over, it's all done.
That's right.
Like now is the time to start getting that stuff done. So I already have kind of stuff in line mentally that I want to start working on. Like spring cleaning my closets, you know. Like,
That's what I've been telling Heaven. Like, look, let's throw all these clothes away.
That's
I'm gonna
what I'm
buy
saying.
new clothes. I'm gonna buy new clothes.
That's right. Look,
Get rid of them.
man,
Let's
you
get
can
rid of
sit
this
around.
clutter.
don't throw them away, donate them.
Yeah, donate them clothes.
I mean,
yeah.
that's what I mean. And
Oh,
not
yeah, yeah.
literally
Look,
throw
but
them
you
away.
can sit around right now all day, every day. Lay around, right? And it'd be okay. People be like, oh, you're good. You're doing the right thing. But what is that going to produce?
I mean, it's gonna be habitual. You're gonna turn it into a habit.
Man, that's it.
So it's
That's
gonna
it.
be some
Make
people.
that
Some people are. This is gonna make or break some people. I promise you. Because when
Oh,
it's
and
time,
marriage is
For
like-
sure. Marriage
when it's
is
time
a
to get
big
back to
guy.
the grind, when it's time to get, when that Monday morning comes
gonna be
around, it's
doing it
time to
in
go back
slow
to
motion.
work.
Your body's not going to adjust.
Hey.
I'm telling you, that's what I'm saying. The off season is going to show you where you're willing to perform at.
I laid around for 2 days, and this morning when I woke up, I could tell.
Your
I
body
could tell
ain't
that
with
my
it.
body was like, my body didn't even want to go,
It's-
and I'm like, nah. And this when it hit me, I was like, nah, I can't keep doing this.
Man, that's right. That's right.
Because, and that's what I told Heaven. I said, I can't keep sitting around here hanging out, just looking at each other and not doing it. We're gonna be out doing some yard work or something because
Because especially this, think about all the time you was busy before you have your office now. Now is the time to get the office done.
oh yeah, definitely.
Man.
Now is the time to isolate from the world like they're suggesting and grind yourself and get the things done that when all this is done, your TV should be hung up in your office. You should have a meeting place. You should have all those things that you've been just so busy not being able to do.
Oh yeah.
That should be your checklist right now
Most
and
days,
saying,
most
Oh
days.
yeah, that's right. Because this is, I wouldn't even say like, I mean, I'm not saying like the effects of the coronavirus is absolutely horrible, but at the same time, it's not all a burden. God has blessed us with this time to be able to play catch up. To
Oh,
say,
yeah.
look, you need to sharpen the edges. You need to get ready for when things get back to normal. And if you don't, just like Jude said, when he went to get up this morning, he didn't feel it.
What we always say, a body in motion stays in motion. A
Oh,
body
yeah.
in rest stays in
and I think,
and that works the other way around. I mean,
Yeah.
it's an object. It's not even a body, but like your thoughts at rest are going to stay at rest. So that's why I've been really trying to take this time, man. And like, man, it's almost like I'm getting back to really dreaming like I used to. Right, and just thinking of different ways and thinking of different ideas, and God's been downloading certain stuff in me. And I believe that that's what this time is going to produce. It's going to produce the next billionaires of the world,
Yeah.
right? So just like we was talking with Zoom, about Zoom, like you may have heard of Zoom because you're in the world of like talking and meeting with people. Me and Nick never heard of Zoom,
Yeah.
ever.
I feel you, bro. Zoom. Zoom.
I never heard of
Yo.
Zoom.
Yo,
But I do agree with what Rob is saying is this is the time where creatives are going to get real creative, so that website that you've been wanting to do,
man, right now,
like right now is the time to do that. Right now is the time to take these steps that you can't do on a normal basis. So when Jew, like now is the time for them to upgrade the regular strength website. If you need shirts or bench programs, like you need to go check out the regular strength website.
man,
Now is the
regular strength.com.
Now is the
Good
time
luck.
now is the time for them to not be like, we don't have nothing to do. How can we improve on what we already got
That's
going?
it. All gas, no brakes.
Man,
So
It's
it's
time
like,
to turn
get it
up.
in.
Oh,
Go ahead,
get it
Nick.
in.
and I'm guilty of it because
Get it in, Reverend.
I spent 2 or 3 days just laying around my house. I was depressed. Like I wasn't like
That's what it will do to you.
I was
Hey,
like,
you know another thing I've been doing?
I think I skipped the shower for a day.
Oh.
Eating. No, for real, like eating.
Eat and
Hey,
eat,
Jude,
eat
I
junk
promise
food.
you. I promise you. And
I mean,
wanna-
snack cakes, everything.
I want to ask a question on Jude's platform and Trust the Process. I didn't
Juice
even.
platform.
It's the Julius Maddox platform. But look, so I didn't even realize I was introduced to a snack cake. I promise you, it's the best thing I've ever had in my life. It's called a turtle brownie.
I never had those.
Nick,
I never had that.
Nick, I promise you, I ain't a big snack person. I don't eat sweets and all that. I promise you, I can sit down in one setting and eat a whole box of them.
Have you done it?
Man, I try to
whole
space
box?
out. Nah, but
How many people gonna gain weight?
I want to.
So look, I bought snack. Oh, I'll tell you, 95% of people are gonna gain weight. So look, what about this though? I've bought 4 boxes of snack cakes in the past 2 weeks, and my kids have ate every single one of them.
Oh, definitely.
So I bought 2 and I left them in my room by my dresser or inside my dresser, just so I could divvy them out. Like I like snack cakes too. I don't eat excessive, like a lot of them. But tell me why my son Grayson got in there and ate 2 boxes of snack cakes.
Wow.
Or a box and a half.
Ain't no hiding stuff like
He
that.
found them.
Oh, he wouldn't hit
Look,
he wouldn't hit in the corner like
he's
that.
probably 45, 50 pounds.
Man.
He ate 8 packs of like those things that look like zebra cakes.
Plus, tell the truth. When you found them, you probably was wanting one and got
I was
in the
wanting
drawer.
one.
Oh yeah,
Look.
As your kids get older, you're gonna realize you have to have a space where
You know what I
have
thought
to
about?
stuff.
I wasn't
I
that worse
said-
than that, was it?
I said, how petty is it that you're gonna spank him for eating your snack cake?
Oh yeah, you're super bad.
I didn't spank him. I didn't spank
Look,
him.
you're real mad.
I was mad though.
Yeah, because you wait till the perfect time till you're laying down to rest, and you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna go get this and lay down."
Look, I just got back from working out, and I was like, man, I need some sugar. And I was like, man, I got those snack cakes.
Yeah.
Those chocolate snack cakes. So I go into my room, I open up my drawer, and in the bag, it's just wrappers.
He just put the wrappers back in
Just
there.
put them back in there.
Ooh, he wasn't even slick.
Ooh-wee.
And I felt like it was a spit in the face. And I asked him, I said, like, you don't even care what I think.
Your feelings was hurt.
Oh, they was hurt. I was
Hey,
like, you
so
don't even
check this out. Zoom has made $4 billion in 2020 so far.
Wow.
$4 billion.
I bet you majority of that was done in the past probably month.
Think
That's what
about
I'm saying.
how many people has downloaded the Zoom app in the last 30 days.
Oh, that's what I mean. That's crazy, insane. And guess what? He was ready for it because I knew what Skype was. Like we use Skype, you know what I'm saying? Just because that was the biggest name, and I guess if you want to talk to somebody face to face without being face to face. But man, because Zoom was ready and they excelled at such a high level, man, people just flocked to them like nothing else. What y'all looking at?
Is he texting Nick's wife?
Hey, look, that's what's so crazy about Apple is look, you ain't even got to have your phone. If you got an iPad sitting around and the kids get on it, look, you're gonna see everything that they see,
yeah.
and vice
That's
versa.
it. That's it.
But that's why I do love Apple's system, how they have it set up.
All right, you just transitioned though.
So look, that is one thing that this Corona has shown me is this the people that actually survive. You know, I ain't gonna say survive through this because the virus can kill you. You know, but like I'm saying, besides the sickness, the people that are actually maintained during this have prepared themselves for when times get hard. So they have a savings account with money. They have, you know, put up some stuff, you know, just in case of emergencies. And they say, Dave Ramsey says 60% of the world wouldn't be able to sustain a $400 emergency.
$400.
And now you're seeing that in the fact of like, man, I lost my job. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
But what have you done in the off season to prepare for when the rough time comes? What have you done in your time off? Or, you know, like how we said last podcast, in the 7 years of, you know, plenty to prepare for the 7 years of famine.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we have to do. Even when this is over, we have to say, okay, how can I prepare myself for if I ever get injured, if something ever happened to me, if something ever happened to my wife,
Man.
how would I survive after that?
Yeah.
And that's the important thing is to do, like get life insurance. That's the important thing to do, like go ahead and you know, arranging your funeral. I think one of the worst things through this is like right now you can't even have a full funeral.
Man.
You gotta basically, Jonah said in New York,
You gotta be on Zoom.
they said basically you have to get cremated right now. There ain't even an option.
Wow.
Man, hey, man, just to kind of be transparent, I was really thinking about that the other day because, you know, my wife, she was just talking to me about the dangers of me going out, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm the one who goes on the missions to get stuff, you know what I'm saying? I still got to make it happen. And I'm in that mentality of like,
On the missions.
you know what I'm saying? I got to do it. I got to provide. So, But me and her was talking, and she was like, you know, what would we do if something happened to you?
Oh yeah.
You know, in that moment, I was like, man, come on, we ain't talking like that. But in all reality, like, I have to assess that. I have to self-assess and say, man, how if something was to happen to me today, how would my family live tomorrow?
Yeah.
And if me as a leader, I don't have my family prepared, that's on me. Then I'm failing them as a leader, and that's all the way across the board. So, like Nick said, would they have to somehow figure out how to pay for my funeral? I mean, I'm sure I would have a decent funeral. I got 13 brothers and sisters, so hopefully somebody would, you know, pitch in and it'd be decent. But at the same time, I'm sure that there's a stopping point in that. But guess what still continues after I'm gone is the bills keep coming in. My kids still have to be taken care of. My wife still needs stuff. They still have to eat. You know, and their life, in all reality, would look completely different without me.
Oh yeah. So
and that's scary. I mean, but that's on me.
One thing that scares me worse than even getting the virus is usually when I get sick or go have surgery or go to the hospital, I know Jonna's right there on the back end. She's able to handle things. Like I feel a comfort in knowing, like,
I bet you do.
If things got worse, Jonna would be able to tell the doctors, like, hey, this is what my husband needs. Or
Hold on, repeat that again.
This is what he wants.
I was responding back to some
I
of the
always
viewers.
feel a comfortability when Jonna's at the hospital with me, like, she's going to take care
What
of
he is
things.
saying is his wife makes him feel really comfortable with the position she holds.
No, I'm not even saying financial. I'm saying when we go to the doctor.
Oh, yeah, I know.
When we go to the doctor, like, I just feel comfortable with her there. Like, she would only, like,
I got that best insurance.
if it had to, like, pull me off the plug, like, I feel like she would, you know, then.
She would make the best decision.
Yeah, like, so I always feel confident in knowing my wife is here and she will tell you exactly what to do.
I know that,
So,
but
like,
what about that? What about that
yeah,
life
dude.
insurance he was talking about?
When we go to
You
the
said wife insurance or life
No,
insurance?
life insurance.
When we-
You said wife
Look,
insurance.
he hit me with that one time. Go ahead.
So when we go to the hospital, Jonna answers all the questions. Like, hey, this is his insurance, this is his, you know, this is his stuff, she has everything in order when we go. I don't even usually have to answer any questions.
Man.
But that's the thing, and that's what scared me, is like right now they're saying like, nobody can go in with you if you get the virus. And that scares me than actually getting the virus.
by
Is that
yourself.
I wouldn't have
she
that.
can't go in
No,
with me.
I seen this one. I seen them do the virus test. And this lady stuck like an 8-inch probe up this lady's nose.
That's how they do it.
I mean, all the way to her brain. And
You
just
know,
left it there.
look, that's what I thought too. I said, "Don't your nose hole go to your brain?" I felt stupid,
Man, look.
and Chloe was like, "Daddy, it makes a U." I was like, "That."
Yeah, it comes out. It comes out of your mouth.
No, so it goes down into your esophagus. So
Oh, I
it goes
thought it
up
went
your
like-
nose and it comes down. I thought it went to your brain too.
Well, ain't your mouth like through your esophagus, like the top? I guess.
Yeah, but all this connects together right
Yeah,
here.
I got
But I always thought, I guess from just our past, right, that the nose goes straight to the brain.
Yeah.
Look, here's what the
That bone probably does. If that bone breaks, I heard if you hit somebody hard enough in
Yeah,
the nose.
we ain't to it.
Yeah, but anyway.
Educationally,
So let's talk about the life insurance thing.
Here's
though.
what the hospital.
Yeah,
Nick, look, now Nick want to change it
Look,
up though.
Nick got
I said
that
because-
life. Now he ain't got life insurance.
got
He
that
got the
wife
wife
insurance.
insurance.
I'm just saying, you got, you know, like.
Look, he was like,
Look,
man,
I
I'm
got
kind
wife
of, look, he
insurance.
told me one time, he was like, I'm kind of worried, man. Jonna took out an extra X amount on me for life insurance.
Hey, I did hear this quote.
Look, he tried to
started
steal it.
No, look, I did hear this quote from this guy, man, and it made me think, like, and this is how serious marriage is. He says, outside of your relationship with God, your second biggest choice is who you marry.
Man,
So, like,
that wife insurance.
your wife is either going to upgrade you or keep you at a certain level.
Man, is your wife an asset?
So, like,
or is she a liability?
I remember when I was out in the streets, and Jonna would be like, Nick, you're so smart. What are you doing? Why do you not have any goals? Like, where do you see your life in 5 years? So she upgraded my mindset in just asking me those questions. So I think, like, for the people that are on the verge of getting married, like, you have to really look at that and say, like, is this the one that God has for me?
And that's also, marriage is not temporary. So a lot of people, especially millennials, are getting into marriage already with the out in mind.
Or
So
based on feeling, like.
Oh, yeah. First of all, marriage is supposed to be for life. That's how God designed it. Second of all, just like Nick said, is what is the qualities of your spouse? Women, so that's why I take high pride in my daughters. I don't want them to just be exposed to any type of man. Like, I want them to when a man enters their life, they know, like, something ain't right here because my dad showed me what a man was.
Yeah.
I see my dad love my mom in such a way to where he set the standards so high that I just don't accept anything, right? So, talking about the life insurance, I really want to emphasize to the gentlemen out there, if you do not have, and I'm talking to myself too, if you do not have life insurance and if something was to happen to you today, your family would be in a horrible position.
Well, think about that. Not only do they have to grieve you dying, now they got to do GoFundMe's and they got to raise money for your funeral. So not only do they have to say, man, my dad just died, or, you know, somebody just died.
The worst day of their life.
Now they have to figure out how they're going to pay for this.
So what all this, because look, Nick, growing up, we wasn't taught these things. Did you? I don't know if somebody sit down and told you about these extra funds and money that would be going out every month, but I was never taught about life insurance. I was never taught about health insurance. Those are two different things.
Yeah.
Andy Mineo put on Twitter, he said, how come he said they didn't have any classes on home ownership and credit in school.
I can teach you how to do an obtuse.
Yeah, he said, but good thing I can tell you the shape of a rectangle.
Man,
the shape of an obtuse.
That's it. Look,
something crazy.
Look, but they're learning right now, and I'm glad I'm seeing this shift, especially in Owensboro Public Schools. Shout out to them. But they have the school middle, and it's not traditional learning. They are realizing that not all kids learn the same.
Yeah.
Like Nick works a different way than I work. Like I'm a big thinker. I like to create. Jew's different. Jew is like hands on. You know what I'm saying? He does like to do things. You know, some things I like to do. But at the same time, I don't learn with you just sitting down and trying to tell me that 2 + 2 = 4. I want to find out, like, where'd you come up with that at? It don't make no sense to me. That's how I live my life. It don't make no sense.
2 + 2 don't.
Well, and then at a young age, you almost.
No, what I'm saying is, I always want to dig into it and find out, like, where did these numbers even come from? What is numbers?
I'm like, it is what it is.
And then if you got to think about 9th grade, you're like, what am I even going to use this for anyway?
I used to think about that stuff, like doing these math tests. I'm like, why would I even use this?
So it's like standardized testing. When am I ever going to use this in real life?
Yeah.
Man.
So it's like, give me something that I'm going to tangibly use when I leave this school.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we have to focus our education system at is.
How do we get on education?
Preparing people for after school. We went from funerals. But that's where I think too, like parents have to teach their kids, like, you can't bank on a school system to teach your kid what you should teach them.
You should be teaching.
But I mean,
especially right now.
We can relate this back to like what's going on now, like our parents, us parents helping our kids do their homework, and some of the stuff is just like, again, I'm like, when would they ever apply this in life?
So I even think about this, and I just heard this earlier. You know, I ain't gonna say when, but I just heard this from 2 different, kids. My daughter goes to a Christian school. And, and somebody she was with, the question was asked, who created the world? And someone she was around said, I don't know. We would have to look at the science behind it. Yeah. Where Bella's first answer was God. Yeah. Because that's what she learns in school. And that's what I've taught her. So you have to make sure that your kids are having the best possible. I think we should always put our kids in the best possible scenarios that we can.
Oh yeah, no, it's our job for sure. But getting down to the basis of it is like, so what are we doing to do our part to be able to help the educational to help? And that's why I really love the ministry of A Regular Strength, right? So it's like we're going to be able to pour into these young people's lives and show them like you don't have to just fold to the circumstance that life has given you.
And I think more than teaching your kids are watching what you do. So as you see for a lot of moms or a lot of people that are always on their phone, their kids are always on their phone, or their kids are always, if you just lay around and then you tell your kids to do this, they're not going to follow in your footsteps. They're going to see what you do and follow in your footsteps. So it's not, what's that saying? Like, say what I do, don't listen to what, I forgot how they say it.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the dumbest quotes ever. Because they are watching literally what you do. They are watching everything you do, and they will follow in your footsteps.
Man, no doubt.
So I think for the parents, the moms, and the dads, it's like, what am I doing on an hour-to-hour basis that is showing my kids how to live life outside of me? Because one day they'll be grown,
That's it.
And I always think about this with Bella. They say a daughter usually chooses the kind of, dad she has. They usually gravitate to that kind of man.
No doubt.
So it's like I want to go above and beyond for her to say, man, you don't ever clean, you don't ever cook. Like I see my dad do all that. Like,
Yeah, they're not just going to settle for anything, that's for sure. So let's kind of just shift this and really give some people, like, let's make it tangible. Let's break it down to real life and say, look, this is what you can do to get better during this time with what we talked about.
Yeah, so I think the first thing is let's self-assess and say,
That's good.
whenever I was in, whenever my normal routine, what did I do? What was I doing in my normal routine? Was I getting up at what time was I getting up? What time was I going? And I would start with just that, like going to bed at the right time and getting up at the right time.
It's big.
And making sure that you got something. That's what I'm gonna work on next week. Is making sure I have something planned that I have to get there. I have to make sure that even if I blow it up to make it seem like something it has to be a priority. Like I have to get it done.
And I want y'all to,
without a goal, if people perish.
I want y'all to think about this,
Ship
Without
out a
vision,
rudder is
people
a-
perish.
yeah.
I want y'all to think about this. If you're not doing family devotions with your family right now, there will never be a better time to do
How
family
many have you
devotions.
done in the past 2 weeks?
I mean, I do my devotional every night.
No, I'm saying how many times have you done it with your family?
I mean, we do it on the phone every day.
I haven't done it.
Yeah.
not
Me
one
neither.
time.
But that's where that just convicted me in thinking that, like,
What do you mean you done it on the phone?
Like I said, I try to send them a devotional.
No, I'm saying where y'all sit down and had a family devotion.
they live through the phones.
Like I haven't. We.
But think about that. If you don't do it now, you think you'll do it when everything is
That's what I'm saying. Like, the thing about it is
So
we
there's
do every
plenty-
now and then.
There's
but like,
plenty to do.
Yeah, there is plenty to do.
Man, plenty to do. Plenty of what we should be doing too.
Yeah.
And that's why I love getting with you. That's why what the Bible says, iron sharpens iron. That's what's happening right now. The sparks are flying. So when you say, well, how many devotionals have you done with your kids? It kind of makes you look at yourself, right?
Yeah, you didn't want to answer my question.
No, because it kind of makes you feel horrible, right?
Yeah.
You're kind of like, man, like, what have I been doing? Just like Nick said, you shouldn't be letting the teachers teach your kid. When's the last time you sat down and read a book with your kids?
No, you're right.
You see what I'm
You're
saying?
right.
So it's like, we can't leave this in the hands of somebody else to teach our kids the things that they should know.
Yeah.
But we do, because we get so complacent that they just get into such a routine that we just leave it up to other people.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I would say the next thing is, look, so I'm assess. If you don't have wife insurance, get it.
Life insurance.
Life insurance. You can't find wife insurance is rare.
Oh no, that's for the single men. Make sure you get you some wife insurance.
Yeah, make sure you get you some wife insurance.
That'll be the best. That'll be the best
You know how you
nugget
find
you've
life
ever heard.
insurance? Happy wife, happy life.
Man, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. Yeah. Man.
Make sure where you find your wife in the strip club or the bar.
That's right. Yeah, because look, what you win them with is what you want to say, Nick?
What you win
My
them
hair
with
is
is what
nappy.
you win them to.
Yeah, man, you got that Jumanji hair.
Man, look at my hair. I can't believe I was just on live like
Is that
that.
quarantine hair?
That's Corona hair.
That's that Corona and chill.
Man, you did a Corona cut.
That's that Corona
All right,
and
so
chill.
make sure that you reach out. Do you guys know of any places that maybe they could reach out? Like where? Give me some basic steps. Like I don't know anything
Life
about
insurance?
Yeah.
Thrivent Financial. That's who I go
Thrivent
through.
Financial.
And here's the coolest thing about Thrivent Financial. You can text Brandon Mattingly. So one of the best things about Thrivent Financial is I pay somewhere around $500, $600 a year. They give me impact money to go give away stuff in my community with.
Wow.
So why would I not do it? They're basically giving me my money back to go do community action with.
Thrivent Financial.
So
Thrivent
who is
Financial.
it? Thrivent Financial. His name is Brandon Mattingly. That's who I went through. And they can do like your Roth IRAs. They can do stocks. They can
That's a
do
plug.
life insurance. And it's to me, there's no reason why. If I pay $600 a year for something to happen to me and my wife I think I got like $250,000 in life insurance.
Man, don't say it too loud. Jonathan's gonna get to thinking. Especially
Man, that's what he told me. He's like, man, I'm worried. She just increased the life
She
insurance.
did.
Yeah. So look, life insurance, and that's a step that you can take to
But
make sure that you're protected.
Here's what the guy at the life insurance said. He said that you want to make sure your family can go on at least 5 years without you. So
Man.
whenever evaluating your life insurance, you want to make sure that they can at least pay off the house
Yeah.
and at least have some leeway to go on without you.
Yeah. To be able to make that step. All right,
Because
so-
they're losing basically a whole salary.
Oh yeah. What about health insurance?
I don't know nothing about health. Oh, we got that.
It's free. So I mean, if you don't make enough money over, I guess like maybe 40,
It's free.
50 grand a year. I mean, it's free for the people who don't
Qualify.
qualify.
Oh, I got you.
But for the most part, like it ain't free because we pay for it.
Yeah,
Like,
so Medicaid.
American taxpayers pay for it.
I got you.
But
So what if you're in the next bracket?
if you're in the next bracket,
You get it
which
through your jobs.
I mean, you get it through your jobs, but if you don't, they have a program that like I was paying for my premium, maybe like $600 a month.
And look, when you
$600 a
first,
month?
Joe,
$600 a month, and they cover the rest.
when you first
Which
start,
I
it
paid a
sucks,
percentage
though.
of it, so it was like I think I paid a percentage of that 600, which was like.
Oh, so you didn't pay the whole $600?
No, I paid
So I
$300.
think what we need to do is maybe in the upcoming weeks, maybe get somebody to call in. You all right?
Man, I gotta coach you, bro.
Well, look, when you first start paying for it, it sucks, don't it?
Oh man,
It's
it
like,
sucks.
man, what am I paying? But then when you realize your daughter, you know, when you go to the dentist and you got this, man, I got my health savings, and I got my health, insurance, and now I can get my teeth done, and now and my daughters can get their teeth pulled. It's well worth the money.
It is.
But I think that we need to have somebody on to maybe break down and give some practical steps, maybe some plugs, maybe some companies that they know of. Man, just to kind of help our people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Y'all hear that popping?
Yeah, you're moving.
I mean,
All
Rob,
right,
I'm sorry. I
anything
didn't know how to
else?
sit here and be still.
Yeah, be still and know that he's God.
And know that
Man.
Why ain't the
Julius Maddox.
man? It's equipment.
Thank you for tuning in to the Julius Maddox podcast.
Man,
Yeah,
this
thank
has
you
been
for tuning
the
in.
Julius Maddox
Thank you for
Matt
tuning
Talks.
into
If
the
you need
Julius
to reach
Maddox
out, if you need to
platform.
reach out to him, you can reach out to him on IG, Facebook, YouTube, at Regular Strings.
Irregular strings, baby.
Phone number 270.
Just know y'all need to trust the process. Yeah.
59-67. No, I'm just
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Look, man, it's been a great conversation. We pray that it's blessed you. We pray that you guys have got some good tools. So we gave you some pretty good direct next couple steps for you to adjust and to get